And so, Anu, here we are in your house, and I just wanted to ask you a few things about yourself. Tell me a little bit about you.
Um, well, I have been in Antigonish for 56 years, I think, by now. And I came here as a bride, and I'm still living here. My husband passed away in 2018. No, 2008, sorry. Yeah, that has been quite a while then. Yeah, and I'm still living here and maintaining the old house, doing gardening, sewing, painting, cooking, researching, and walking sometimes, not all the time.
And Anu, what was it like when you were working with the other women, building trust and working towards eventually telling your story and listening to their story?
Oh, it was an eye opener,
Uh-huh.
really, to get to know people how and what diverse conditions they had come out of, and how they have made a space for them in a different society, what they have gone through. It was really something,
Mm-hmm.
and it increased the admiration for them,
Yeah, yeah,
really.
yeah. And what was it like working on your own story?
It was kind of going back into time,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
It was a little bit traumatic sometimes
Yes.
because, yeah, and it was a little bit like that. But, well, you keep on going.
Yes, that's right. But there's some lovely bits in your story. There's looking back in time, there's some funny little things that happen. There's some things that are sort of sweet. And, I remember your story was called The Silver Sandals, and you talked about those silver sandals that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
wore them as a bride.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did too. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And that's how I met my husband too, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, you were wearing them then.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I wanted to ask about Colleen Jones from CBC came, and she came right into your house here,
Yeah,
and you gave her something to eat and drink, and she talked to you about different things and to do with the Shoe Project.
yeah,
And then we all went to the theater and
right. Yeah,
more questions, and she was such a wonderful presence, I
she
think.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
and
is a wonderful person to talk to anyway,
yes,
right? And
yeah.
made me feel so comfortable.
Hmm.
And I think she was intrigued from what you told her about my arranged marriage.
Oh, yes,
You know,
yes, she was.
I think that was the trigger.
10 weeks of the writing workshop, and then you did all the rehearsals, and so that was it was a lot of effort and time, I know.
Yeah,
But then you came to performing your story, and so
right.
what was that like when you were performing?
Uh, it was really different, and especially to stand in front of the audience. It could have been very traumatic,
Yes.
but I was very comfortable, right?
Ah, yes.
And I have I had enough confidence to
Hmm.
pull me through,
Hmm.
and it was
Hmm.
good. And
Hmm.
it was important for people to realize about different cultures.
Yes. So the audience,
Yes.
you saw it as
Oh,
it was
yes.
kind of like a
Yeah.
teachable moment for
Oh,
the
my goodness.
audience.
Even
Yes.
afterwards,
Yes.
there was such a big response, and there were so many people because the day we did it, there was a big storm,
Uh-huh.
right? And there weren't enough people who were able to come.
Yes.
And I think next day they wanted to come, but we weren't doing it,
Ah, okay.
right? So there were so many people who told me that they heard about it
Yes.
and they wanted to come,
Yeah.
but there was no time.
Right.
There was
No,
the weather wasn't cooperating.
you're right. And there were only the two performers. And then when you were listening to others telling their stories and performing their stories, what was that like? I mean, it was really an interesting performance in the
was.
sense that we had Liliana Kwame,
Yeah,
who was doing the dance at the
exactly.
beginning,
Yeah,
and she was kind of expressing in her dance what it was like to
I
be
know.
an immigrant.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I could relate to her too because she is an immigrant of color, like
Yes.
I am,
Uh-huh. Yes.
right? So that makes a difference too
Yes.
because being skin tone, no matter what you say, makes a very big difference.
I bet. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And so you could identify
I
with
can.
her.
I was able
Yeah.
to. I was able to. Yeah. It was very moving.
Yeah, it was moving. And all the stories,
Yeah.
as we went through them,
Yeah.
they were all moving.
Very
And,
moving. Yeah.
they touched the heart. They made us
Exactly.
laugh, but they
Yeah.
also touched the heart.
I know. And
Yeah.
they brought us closer,
I think so.
And we used to have the get-togethers afterwards,
Yeah.
for a few times, and that was very nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious, did it have lasting effects, this experience? Did it have lasting effects for you?
Only in the sense that the people got to know me a little bit more,
Yes.
right? And they all wanted to know the story behind how you came,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
Why you came, because you don't go around telling all these things to everyone,
No.
right? But in this way, when it was a performance and they heard about it and they saw it, it made a difference, very big difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is it the sort of thing that you would like to see happen again?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And
I
again,
think so.
do you think it's something that it would be nice if it were a continued thing?
Oh, yes.
And
definitely.
happening maybe every other year or
Oh,
something like that?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
And I think more diverse people we have, much better it will be.
Yes. Right.
Because we need to involve more different communities, more of them.
And there's something about telling a story, telling your story. Someone else tells her story. Someone else tells his story.
Yeah.
There's something about that sharing of stories that I think is very powerful.
It is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because you then, through drama, you can then understand a little bit better. And that's what it's all about, I think.
That is exactly what
understanding.
it is. Yeah. And storytelling is very important. And that's how most of the cultures have stayed alive.
Yes, through storytelling.
Exactly.
That's right.
There was no written word. There was just the stories.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's doing it again.
Again.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Anu. This was just so lovely.